and he wins. Donnie mind melds with TV's most famous captain, William Shatner. The Big Idea, next on CNBC.
Tonight on The Big Idea, I'm joined by Captain Kirk, T.J. Hooker, and Boston Legal's Denny Crane, all in one. It's William Shatner. He's done it all, TV, movies, books, records. And he's beaming in tonight for The Big Idea. Shatner's next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to The Big Idea. I'm Donnie Deutsch. I am pumped about tonight's show. Joining me tonight is one of the most famous faces in the history of television. William Shatner has played some of the most memorable characters ever. Of course, from 1966 to 69, he was Captain James T. Kirk on the TV series Star Trek.
Destroy it. There was no force field. Something shot me back. They're in here. You! What are you doing on my ship?
In the 80s, he was policeman T.J. Hooker.
Resist arrest. Resist arrest. Please.
Now you can see him as attorney Denny Crane on the hit show Boston Legal. Shatner has won 2 Emmys and a Golden Globe for his portrayal as Denny Crane.
Mr. Shore, the media has painted me as the Black Widow, the gold digger who's poisoned her 70-year-old rich husband. If they can prove I was having an affair, I'll be hated. I'll be needing a jury to look beyond the hatred and see that I'm innocent. I suppose I'm first looking for an attorney who could do the same.
I can. God, you're sexy.
How about you go back to your office? I'll have a pair of my pants delivered. You can try and get in them on your own time.
She's wicked. I love it.
William Shatner is also acting in a slew of movies. He's been a director and author, a TV spokesman for Priceline, and a sort of musician with his 2 CDs, the cult classic from the 60s, The Transformed Man, and last year's Has Been. It's hard to believe that Mr. Shatner is 74. That's right, 74 years old. He looks great. He's busier than ever. He's loving life. And he's joining me for tonight's big conversation. Welcome, Mr. Shatner.
Thank you, Mr. Doyle.
Now, we did a piece a couple weeks ago where 60 is the new 30. You know, Stallone doing the new Rocky and Mick Jagger dancing around the garden in 62. So I guess with you, 74 is the new 36. Is that about right?
I hear the words, I hear the number 74, and I'm wondering who they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound like me.
At my age of 47, I don't know what they're talking about. It was interesting. They did a study with baby boomers that they say middle age, baby boomers define middle age as 50 to 75 or 74. So it's fascinating, isn't it? So you're still kind
I'm
of
on the cusp of middle age.
Yeah.
I feel middle age. I feel younger than middle age.
Yeah.
I feel, well, 47 is dyslexic 74, isn't it?
I knew there was
there was a connection
play
there.
here. There was the thing happening.
And I feel younger than 47. I feel 33.
33. Okay, we'll take 33. So being a 33-year-old in the TV business today versus being a 33-year-old in the TV business when you were Kirk, what's same craziness? What things change when they stay the same?
Yeah, I think perhaps that's it. I think the technology has changed to digital and these smaller cameras and things. But nothing else really changes. You learn the words, you hit the marks, take a deep breath, and try and say it with veracity and ferocity. But not much has changed.
You know, the thing that I fascinated about you and I respect is you obviously have done so many things in your career. And obviously you got known as Kirk and Trek, and a lot of actors go, well, okay, that was then, and I'm into a different place now. Yet you always understood what that enabled you to do, and never ran from that. And I just think that's not only smart, but it's amazing how many people, like I'm an ad guy. I will never. That's where I got to where I am, and I understand why people run from who they were. It's a strange thing.
Well, yes, it's true. You have to recognize who you are and what you're doing. On the other hand, Star Trek at its best was really good and classical.
Yeah.
And I played a leading man, and I had some wonderful things to do. and wonderful people to work with. And so who am I to say, don't say beam me up anymore?
Yeah.
Beam me up, Mr. Spock.
We're going to talk a little bit about Star Trek. We're going to work our way into the present. Wasn't as successful as an original run on NBC in the late 60s. Obviously hits a nerve beyond comprehension syndication, making $1 billion in revenue. The most profitable show in TV history.
I heard at least $2 billion.
Yeah. And what's interesting is about, as you started to reflect on it now, its place is just probably, other than the Twilight Zone, we're going to talk about your Twilight Zone, probably the most progressive show, pre All in the Family, in that some of the issues, I just want to start one clip with your kind of interracial kiss, which for then, I can't believe they didn't storm the TV studios. Let's take a look at Mr. Shatner in action, right behind us.
I'm thinking of all the times on the Enterprise when I was scared to death. And I would see you so busy at your command. And I would hear your voice from all parts of the ship. And my fears would fade. And now they're making me tremble. But I'm not afraid. I am not afraid.
Now that was the late 60s. That stuff wasn't happening. That was network TV. Take me in the story meeting where that came up.
Well, I don't remember the story meeting, but I remember the furor that, especially in the South, where stations dropped the show for that week because of that kiss. The thing that we don't recognize now was that guy they kept cutting to, this Greek god, was forcing us to do it. So it mitigates it a little, but it was quite ahead of its time.
Yeah. Why did this show hit such a nerve to the point where you had, it's an overused set of words, but cult-like following? We're going to show that Saturday Night Live clip in a little bit.
Right.
What is it about this thing that caused young men, grown men, to act like idiots, basically? And I'm not trying to offend any Trekkies out there, but it was a TV show,
right,
but to elevate it to a very different place.
I wrote 2 books pertaining to that subject. One was called Get a Life, which was about the Star Trek audience and the constituency and who they were and what they were doing at these conventions. And it turns out that they were there to see each other, not to see us. Since they had conventions more than several times a year, and many of the same people would turn up, they'd be old friends, and they'd be there to see each other and incidentally to see the stars. So that was the audience. Who were these people? These were people who were fascinated by the advent of space, which was happening then.
Yeah.
NASA and Star Trek were working.
2 years before man walked on the moon.
Exactly. In fact, I was at NASA one time, and I was aboard the LEM that was going to land on the moon prior to it landing on the moon, and I lay in the LEM. I was going through the controls, and when I walked, and they had a large staircase to the LEM. When I got out of the lunar module and got onto the staircase, 5,000 engineers from NASA, from all around the Kennedy facility, were there applauding, and I wrote on a little model of the Enterprise I'll see on the moon, and it was kind of like symbiotic.
Yeah. All right, I want to show a clip from that Saturday Night Live, which kind of jokingly pokes a little fun at the Trekkies.
The man you've all been waiting for. This is his first Star Trek convention in quite a long time. I know he's thrilled to be here. Captain James Tiberius Kirk.
Some of you have traveled, hundreds of miles to be here. I'd just like to say, get a life, will you, people? I mean, for crying out loud, it's just a TV show. Look at you. Look at the way you're dressed. You've turned an enjoyable little job that I did as a lark for a few years into a colossal waste of time. I mean, how old are you people? What have you done with yourselves? You must be almost 30. Have you ever kissed a girl?
great stuff. John Lovitz, of course, the late, great Phil Hartman. Did you get any fans after that that wrote you nasty letters? I can't believe you're making fun of us, because these people take this stuff kind of seriously.
They did, but some did. But on the whole, everybody saw it as humor and fun, and we poke fun at ourselves. There was it's a two-leveled approach, I think, and that is, it obviously is just a television show, but on another level, it struck a chord among many people, like I say, among many scientists that we can think of now, and Star Trek did have an influence on some of the science of today.
Art influencing culture and Star Trek. We're going to take a break. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about, of course, Boston Legal. We got to talk about the music business. We got to talk about your gorgeous wife. We're having a good time tonight. We're talking to Bill Shatner. Don't go anywhere.
A woman once left me because the way I grunted during sex reminded her of her pot-bellied pig.
You grunt like a pig during sex?
And when I fell asleep after? She said I snored like her pig, too. You just can't win. Relationships end for all sorts of reasons. The only thing you can do is go fishing.
Welcome.
He's crawling on. That was a young William Shatner. He's still young, but he was a little younger then. In one of the most famous episodes from my favorite show of all time, The Twilight Zone, we're back with Emmy Award-winning actor and all-around good guy, William Shatner. Twilight Zone, for my money, best writing in the history of television, and that was probably one of the 5 top ones of all time.
Right. There were some wonderful writers there, names of whom are beginning to escape me. Matheson and Johnson are 2 that come to mind, but they went on to do wonderful things. Richard Matheson became a great screenwriter and all that kind of.
Incredible life lessons, and it was interesting now when you look at it, the almost Neanderthal special effects, but yet with these brilliant stories that it didn't matter. And you understand now, at the end of the day, it's about human stories well told. Forget the effects.
And that's exactly right. And that lesson is lost many times in television as well as in science fiction films, where they think another explosion, another fantastic computer graphic thing, whereas it's always the story. It's always the words, it's always the character.
What makes Boston Legal work and what makes Star Trek work? Great characters, well flushed out, good storyline.
Exactly.
I mean, it just doesn't change.
Exactly. So you could be looking off stage and saying, look at that explosion, and you don't have to see it. I mean, you should, but you don't have to.
Right. What was it like working with Sterling?
Working with Sterling?
Sterling.
A lot of these guys, as artistic as they are removed. They're in their own place.
Yeah.
And I remember him being removed. He must have been warm and cuddly to somebody, but not to me. And I did several shows with him, both on live television and had won awards and did Playhouse 90s and things like that. But I remember him being a lovely guy, but
little guy.
But removed.
Show another clip from Twilight Zone. Right back here.
Can you imagine in a television show, let alone a movie, of having that little furry thing on the wing? I mean, they'd laugh you off.
Brilliant. Didn't matter.
But it didn't matter.
Yeah. Let's switch gears a little advertising, something I know a little bit something about. I think your campaign for Priceline, one of the most original of the last decade. Yeah. You actually worked on it. Shout out to my good friend Ernest Lubinacci.
I know.
Worked on it with you, the creative guy behind it. Tell me how Priceline came up with the idea. Okay, let's take Shatner doing these Shatnerized tunes.
Well,
what about a disconnect?
I don't. There was a guy who was at Priceline who who was advocating me. But how they got to the songs, Ernst tells me that he was fascinated by that early album that I did called The Transformed Man. Well, The Transformed Man was a work of some thought on my part. I wanted to link literature, classic literature, with music, new music, segueing into the literature of the time, which was the songs, which also had music. So there was a 6-minute cut in each of the many cuts. Well, they wouldn't let me play the 6 minutes on radio, so they played a song, and the song got mocked and held up to some ridicule, although those people who did hear the whole record, which included Ernst and his wonderful...
Let's play from that early album. Let's either do Mr. Tambourine Man or Lucy. How about Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? Because this is art. We need to hear this.
Picture yourself in a boat on a river with tangerine trees and marmalade skies. Somebody calls you, you answer quite slowly. A girl with kaleidoscope eyes. Cellophane flowers of yellow and green towering over your head.
Let me
Are there mushrooms involved with this?
Let me tell you about it. Let me tell you about it. Yes, there are. Okay, because there are mushrooms. It's Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, LSD, right? Sure. Okay, so it's a drug song. Now, if you played the prior cut, which I think was Cyrano, it talks about, I may climb to no great heights, but I will climb alone, segues into a guy who can't climb alone, and the thought was, here is a contrasting philosophy of song and literature, okay? That was the thought behind it. So people like Ernst saw what I was trying to do.
Okay.
People like Ben Folds saw what I was trying to do.
Let's show a clip from the Priceline commercial.
We got a great big convoy rocking through the night, yeah. We got a great big convoy. Ain't he a beautiful sight? Can you see it, mister? An army of Priceline.com users, million strong. Saving our own price for airline tickets, hotel rooms, and more. We're saving a truckload of cash. Good buddy, you coming along for the ride? We're gonna roll this trucking convoy across the USA. Convoy!
So you see how art and commerce can combine.
Well, the brilliance, the way they sold that to the client, they said, they brilliantly just read the copy. We're going to do copy. This is going to sound to you like the most hardworking, boring copy. This is what Priceline does. Fact, 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 fact. So on the one hand, they did the most hard-hitting, old-line school of advertising you can do, but dressed it up in this incredibly contemporary, offbeat way.
Right.
That was a brilliant
And the musicians on that commercial, whose names, other than Ben Folds, I can't remember, but they were wonderful musicians, and name musicians wanted to be on the commercial. So they all played, there was 5 or 6 of them playing instruments that were all deadened, including the piano for Ben Folds' piano. Could not make any sound because the music was pre-recorded by other musicians.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want to hear you singing at the Enemies. We're going to go sing. And then we're talking about some personal stuff. You're happily married now, but have had your travails, obviously well documented, tragically lost your third wife in a drowning accident. I want to talk about that. I know that's obviously tough to talk about, but we got a lot to cover, okay, man? Keep it right here. We're talking to Bill Shatner. We're talking to Kirk. We're talking to T.J. Hooker. We're talking to... I mean, what's better than talking to Shatner? Keep it right here.
Teddy Crane, you've come to the right firm. I can tell you that. My God, you're even more striking in person.
Who is this man? And why is his face about to explode?
Kelly Nolan, this is Denny Crane. Success has caused his head to swell.
It'll be an honor to defend your honor. Has anybody ever told you how incredibly beautiful you are?
Never. Could you excuse us, please?
Well, certainly you want me by your side at this trial.
I'm sure you're very sweet, but old men tend to die on me.
I'm Denny Crane.
Have you read...
Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
That was William Shatner doing the Star Trek theme at this year's Emmy Awards. Of course, you were beat out by my good buddy Donald Trump singing Green Acres.
Green Acres is the place to be. Far
that countryside.
How could he have done that?
That was funny, though. I have to tell you that.
Yeah, he was funny.
That's what I love about the guy. He's able to make fun of himself, and that's what made you such a. I think to be an enduring critter in front of people these days, to be a character, whether you're a business person or TV, you have to be able to make fun of yourself, and that's what I think people keep inviting you into their home, because you know what, as seriously as this guy takes himself, he's able to poke fun, and I think we've always gotten to see that with you. Well, before we get off music, you were nominated for five.
Well, no, I'm not nominated. I'm up for nomination.
Up for nomination
for half a dozen things.
That you're being
Best
considered
Spoken
for
Word.
Grammys.
The album is called Has Been, but it's a direct result of the Transformed Man, the album we were joshing before.
Love it. Now that would be a kick, a Grammy Award, huh?
That would be the kick.
That would be a kick. I want to talk about some personal stuff. You're happily married now.
Yes.
Met your beautiful wife off stage. Your third wife, 1999, you guys were going through some rough times. She had been having her challenges with alcohol, and you guys are not together, and you found her in the pool.
Right. We were together, and she was struggling with a disease, and that's what happened. My beautiful wife is dead. She meant everything to me. Her laughter, her tears, and her joy will remain with me the rest of my life. Thank you.
How do you move on the next day, the next week, the next month? How do you put that into place?
I don't know whether I would have, could have. I was in despair because I loved Noreen, and Noreen loved me, and I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't met Elizabeth.
What makes it work with your current beautiful wife?
The total appreciation of the fortuitousness of having met and being together. The luck.
How'd you guys meet?
Over horses.
And what license? I asked somebody who was married 4 times. What's the key to? A very well-known person who's been married 4. I won't mention his name. He's a good buddy. And I said, "What's the key to marriage?" And it's strange asking somebody who's been married. And he had a great line. He said, "Well, marriage is great. 3 of them have been terrific." So, any different lessons as you go along? Because now that you're 37, we established at the beginning of the show.
37.
Dealing with women versus as a young man in the 20s and 30s, different perspective you bring to the table.
I think just the appreciation of the other person, to totally come out of yourself and be into the other person, their life, their feelings, their needs, and as best you can, be there.
Speaking of needs, it was a great line from the Michael Douglas movie American President when he's about to make love to Annette Bening for the first time, and he says to her, well, just any notion you have that, being the most powerful man in the world, that just has to do with me as president.
Any expectations that you might have, given the fact that I'm,
the most powerful man in the world?
Exactly, thank you. I think it's important you remember that's a political distinction that comes with the office. I mean, if Eisenhower were here instead of me, he'd be dead by now. And number 3...
As a young guy, you're Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Basically, the coolest dude in the world.
Yeah.
How does that go into the bedroom? I mean,
no problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to give me, huh?
It's tough.
I mean, are there expectations from women? Because we do live in this world where people cannot separate, okay, you're Captain Kirk, and you're on the Enterprise, and you're versus just, okay, that's happened to who I play.
There's no problem.
No problem. Playboy asked you a great question. I hate to have to steal questions, but they had a great question. Who would be better in bed, Captain Kirk or T.J. Hooker?
And what did I say?
You said one was more giving and one was more taking, and we need to explore that a little bit.
Oh, we can.
Yes.
Now?
Yeah. we can have a cappuccino afterwards. Right. Well, I think it would be more interesting for our audience if we talked about it now.
Now?
Yeah.
You have to give and you have to take. You have to be able to give, but you also have to be able to take. You have to be able to take love, And I don't know whether I've heard that discussed very much. Whether you can accept somebody else's love equally, because giving is great.
Yeah.
And you're giving, and there's certain power in giving. And there's a certain weakness in it's not the word weakness not I'm looking for, but there's a certain weakness in taking.
Yeah.
And you have to allow yourself to do both.
Without getting into a shrink's couch here, I totally understand what you're talking about. Can I lie down?
No, I was going to say it. You saw my eyes.
All right, we're going to take a break now. When we come back, I want to talk to you about your daughters, your 3 beautiful daughters, and we'll talk about some Boston Legal and Emmys and all kinds of stuff like that. Talking to William Shatner tonight. Don't go anywhere. Have a good time.
Thick towels, room service, Spectravision, in-flight movies, leg room, honey roasted peanuts. Once upon a time, you had to be rich to live like a king, but not anymore. Not with Priceline.com. Now we can all name our own price for tickets on big, shiny planes, rooms in classic hotels. We can fly in bigger seats, sleep in better beds, eat our way through the mini bar. The king is dead.
For December the 2nd, we will conference a week from today.
Denny Crane. Who the hell called? And why? No, Denny Crane.
Ah, Mr. Crane. Recall Jessel, would you please?
Document number 166253, Commonwealth versus Ronald Jessel.
Mr. Crane, you've been assigned to represent one of our indigent defendants. Thank you for coming in.
No can do, Judge.
I beg your pardon?
Indigent or poor. Hate the poor. Can't pay.
Mr. Crane, this isn't a request, it's a court order. Unless you think the senior partners are exempt from civic duty.
Was it a hooker? I can do hookers.
It's a murder case. Your client is right there.
Defense pleads guilty. We accept the district attorney's recommendation for sentencing.
That was, of course, William Shatner's Emmy Award-winning role as Denny Crane on a hit show, Boston Legal. Now, Denny is
before you begin, on the last segment, I found the word I wanted, which wasn't in taking, wasn't weakness, it was the danger. There's a danger in taking. You leave yourself vulnerable in love.
The vulnerable.
Yes.
Vulnerability part. I got to work on that for me.
Yep.
Seriously, no joke. Denny Crane. Thank you. I would appreciate that. Denny Crane, what I love about this character is he's very politically incorrect. And, you know, I run an ad agency with a lot of men and a lot of women. I actually have a book out now where I talk about flirtation is okay in the workplace. Is okay in the workplace. And to not recognize man-woman tensions, woman-woman tensions, or whatever is okay. And what I love about this character is you're just kind of this bull in a china shop, and it's kind of the way I've been in business, and it's kind of worked for me. But and so talk to me about the development of that character.
Well, he is totally politically incorrect. In the coming episode, I talk about the poor, and they're responsible for their poverty and all that kind of thing. So it really expresses the far extremes of some spectrum.
Well, specifically towards women. I mean, you in the show, you objectify. I mean, it's just, there's no holds barred. Whereas in most workplaces, a lot of what goes on there wouldn't be seen as harassment, and yet it works.
So you're wondering how this character evolved?
Yes.
Out of David Kelly's imagination. It comes from David, and it's exploring that aspect, which is very difficult in the workplace. I mean, those of us who appreciate a beautiful woman can make a mistake that may be inadvertent, and the woman takes offense.
Yeah. The difference, harassment, I've never been, thank God, been complained about harassment, because it's about misuse of power. So sometimes I've found over the years... Not necessarily. Well, that's really definition.
Well, maybe the definition,
look, you can say to a woman or a man can say, that's a nice dress, and that's technically harassment. But I have found in the workplace, there is some slack when it's not about misusing your power and never about preying on people and whatnot. And I think that's versus some companies, sometimes you'll hear about these harassment suits, and it's because there's such rigid environments to begin with, and there is the misuse of power there.
Well, we get a lecture every year on our show, on Boston Legal. There's been a lecture every year about what sexual harassment is.
Yeah.
It's very cloudy.
How do they define it when they give you that speech every year?
Well, be careful. And, I mean, I don't understand it.
Let's show a clip of Denny Crane from Boston Legal.
Well, I have nothing against marriage. I've done it 5 times. But here's the thing about wives. They don't let you play with your friends. I mean, I couldn't be standing outside here every night on this balcony. I'll take a friend over a wife
every time. Shouldn't a wife be your best friend?
But in my case, my wife is my best.
That's the key. That, when you talk to people about marriages, and they work, and the answer is always their best friends. All right, let's take a look. Winning the Emmy Award this year. I want to go and tell you first. Let's look at a clip, and then we want to talk about it.
And the Emmy goes to William Shatner, Boston Legal.
This is the third Emmy nomination for William Shatner and his second win. Mr. Shatner took home an Emmy last year for his portrayal of Denny Crane on The Practice.
Thank you. All right, guys. The other day,
God bless Alan Alda for not doing that. So when you're sitting there, take me, because we all watch that stuff at home. Well, when you're sitting there and they're going through that, what's going on?
I've discovered something, having now been in the position of being nominated and then going to the event and wondering and wanting. We all want to win.
Sure.
I mean, it's all delightful, oh, wow, that's wonderful.
Sure,
and the other four are applauding.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
It's for show because you want to win.
Of course you do.
But the pain of not winning is such that if you prepare remarks, then you have an expectation of winning. And in that expectation, if you don't win, there's pain.
Yeah.
But if you don't prepare, then you don't have to...
It's kind of like you've assumed you're not going to
win, so you don't have the
process. Right.
And I found myself not preparing.
As they're reading the names, what are you saying to yourself at that moment?
I want to hear.
I always wondered, you could see it.
There's nobody else got to.
Yeah, exactly. You wanted to.
And then I heard. My wife hugged me.
Now, when you're on stage and you're looking out, you're not seeing anything. You're just
you're seeing it. There's tears and tears of light. There's 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people.
But can you see? Because when I've always been up on stage at big events, the light is such that you can't even see the people.
In this instance, you can see them. As the hall is such that you can, and now you're not prepared.
Right.
Now suddenly you're panicked.
Okay, I want to hear that panic. We take a break, and also I want to hear about one of my favorites, Heather Locklear. You worked with her on T.J. Hooker. She's in this show. There seems to be sparks on the air. I want some behind-the-scenes Heather Locklear stories because I love Heather Locklear. Richie said, "Boy, don't worry, you're safe." But we just need to talk about that. We got more with William Shatner. Don't go anywhere.
And Denny, I'll look after Kelly. I can see you're aroused. You might consider the last man to make love to her died while doing so. I'll take my chances.
Kidnapped, and there's 2 men here who say they're going to kill us by Friday at midnight. But I don't want anyone to pay them any money.
Cut!
If that would be giving in to terrorism. And I'm Miss United States.
Cut!
And I stand for fairness and decency and the American way. From sea to shining sea.
Cut!
I'd be happy to say it if you'd like. I've done quite a bit of theater. I played Iago in Twelfth Night.
That was William Shatner playing beauty pageant host Stan Fields in Miss Congeniality 2. You do a lot of stuff, man. All right, before the break, you were freaking out on the Emmys. So what's going through your mind when you're up there?
How do I make this different? Who do I thank? And now, before you can get your thoughts wrapped up, they're playing the exit music, and there's on the crawl, they're saying, wrap it up, and you haven't started.
You haven't started, wrap it up. Yeah. That music is... I always feel bad for that idiot up there who they basically they'll never cut off a star, but like some guy...
Yes, they do.
Some guy who's gotten in for art director or whatever it is.
And he's rambling on thanking his cousin.
Goodbye.
Right.
See ya.
Right.
What's it like working with Spader?
He's great. Yeah, he's a gem of a guy. And the cast throughout and crew, delightful working environment. I'm so happy there.
Yeah, and of course I got to ask you about Heather Locklear. I mean, she is beautiful. She is beautiful as she seems.
Charming.
I've never met her.
She's every bit as beautiful as she is, and I've watched her grow from a 19-year-old when I played with her, and so to speak, in T.J. Hooker, and then watched her become one of the most popular people on television.
Can you tell her I'd like to go on a date with her? I know she's married, but we live in a very different kind of... No, I'm not. I'm actually separated, but I know she's married.
Why?
Why? Because I'm an idiot. That's a whole other show right there. I was married to a wonderful girl. But that's, like I said, But you see, that's, no, wait. I'm talking to you about
that's why your show is successful, because you allow that vulnerability.
It's true. But that's why you hit a nerve. When you said to me about the whole, that happens to be, I'm talking about this on TV, that happens to be an issue I have as far as accepting.
Absolutely. I can see it in your physique.
How many talk show hosts sit there and just pour out their
most of them.
neuroses on camera? Like, do they really? Okay, because I'm feeling really stupid right now. But okay, we got to change gears for a second. All right, you coming up this season, one of my favorite people in the world is coming on to Boston Legal. I can't say enough about him. That's Michael J. Fox. He's going to be doing, I think, 6 episodes. You're doing your first scene with him this week.
That's right. As when the show is, when your show is over, and I head back to New York the following day. The day after that, I'll play a first scene. I'll meet Michael for the first time, and I must tell you that I know a little bit about the illness, and to see his courage, even to taking this part. Yeah. He's got a 3-show deal, I think, playing a wonderful part in Boston Legal on ABC's at 10 o'clock, and Tuesday nights. And he's 7 p.m. Pacific. And he's extraordinary. He's courageous. He's a magnificent human being.
He genuinely feels blessed that he has this disease so he can help people. And the kind of guy he is, so you would know this, he's been out shooting around in L.A. I was in an event with him last week. He flew across the country just to come in and give a 20-minute talk, not even for his own foundation, to other people who raise money for foundations, to teach them how to raise money. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. So, Mike, I don't mean to embarrass
remarkable.
You, you know, really, very, very special. So any surprises coming up in this season?
Every week.
Every week.
Every week.
A plethora of surprises.
Well, exactly. We have, our show has really hit its stride. The writers now know we're funnier, we're also more pointed, and I love to throw in the idea that we have sex and violence in it too. So we're really worth watching Boston Legal.
Denny Crane.
All right, I want to just get into some just personal questions and whatnot, because we got to ask particular things. I always like when I get guests on, things like, for instance, what's on your iPod at the moment, and other than your own stuff. And don't tell me you don't have an iPod.
Well, I do. I do
have
an iPod.
Blow the whole 3774 thing.
No, okay. But my problem was that I don't know 4,000 songs.
Right.
Okay.
And iPod, there's a lot of pressure with the iPod.
But that's my point. You got to fill your iPod up. Right. That's the point of having empty space.
Exactly. I have 100 songs on mine.
Right, 100 songs.
Right.
50 of which you don't know the names.
Right.
Of, right? Because we listen to the radio, we don't know the names of the songs.
Right.
So I had this iPod, and I said, I've got an iPod, and I have nothing to put into it. And somebody said to me, now, I understand you're not supposed to do this, but to heck with it. They said, I'll download my iPod into your iPod. I know. Okay. Well, hey, check. Right. Boom. I've now got 4,000 songs I've never heard before.
Right. And
it's in my iPod.
And you listen to 14 of them.
Right. But I heard the Beatles' White Album with earphones on late one night when I was shooting, like 3 in the morning, and I'm listening to this thing. And I'm thinking, I've heard these things before, but I've never heard them like this. I've discovered the White Album.
That's it, finally.
Yes.
Okay.
20 years later.
What do you work out to if you're going to just work out to music?
Jazz.
Jazz?
Yeah.
But jazz is kind of like...
Well, okay. And this is 75 pounds.
Right. You don't sing when you work out, though, because people might make fun of you at the gym if you do that.
No.
Okay.
They don't make fun of me. Okay. I'm pumping head.
And you're Captain Kirk, so who's going to make fun of you? All right, we've got more with William Shatner when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Peace will guide the planets, and love will steer the stars. It's a whole new age of consumer power. With Priceline.com, millions of beautiful people have named their own price and saved a load of bread on the things they want and need. Can you dig it?
Taste I could too. For the captain of the Enterprise.
Captain Kirk, passing the baton over to Patrick Stewart's Captain Picard in the movie Star Trek Generations. Back with Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner. Now, Patrick Stewart is obviously a brilliant, classically trained actor, but it was a big drop-off for me. Well, no disrespect to Mr. Stewart. He's a wonderful actor. But still, he's no Captain Kirk.
That moment of the death of Captain Kirk requires a little discussion, momentary, and perhaps it'll be self-revelatory. I had to think of what it would be like to die, and especially that character, what it would be like for that character to die. And since he had spent all those years in awe and wonder about these monsters that would appear every week, and I'd like to play him, like, wow, look at that. I had to think of what that marginal area is when you're losing consciousness, but you're still conscious enough to know that you're conscious and that you're dying before you slip off like into sleep. What is that narrow margin? Where are you? And how would Captain Kirk deal with that? And I had lived to know. Like, oh wow, look what's coming, and then die. I had to think about that a lot. Think about my own death. And interesting stuff. It's traumatizing.
On a lighter note, what do you think of all this reality TV stuff today?
Well, I think some of it's awful.
Yeah.
And some of it's pretty good.
Most of it is awful.
Yeah.
What's your favorite show other than stuff that you do?
Sports.
Yeah.
And the drama of sports. The Notre Dame USC game.
Great game. Probably best college football game I've seen in the last 10 years.
Probably the best game I've ever seen.
You a Laker fan?
Yeah, but I don't like what's happening. Maybe this year will be better.
I think this year we're going to see a little bit about really, really what Phil Jackson is all about. Obviously, he's an amazing coach, but he has always had Shaq and Kobe together, and he's always had Michael Jordan. So it'll be interesting. He certainly does not have a championship team this year. So it'll be interesting.
No, but also Kobe is on the verge of being one of the great players.
Well, he is, right? I mean, he arguably is.
Yes, but like one of the top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Can he overcome himself?
Yeah. You need big men, though. Without big men, it's how do you do in that whole LA scene? Because you're a horse guy, you live on a huge ranch.
No, I don't live on a huge ranch, but I have a lot of horses. My wife and I are big horses. Well, no, we have ranches. But we live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
How do I do in the LA scene?
Yeah.
We do horses. And eat sushi.
Okay. William Shatner. You come back anytime. Speaking Deutsch is next. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, William Shatner. Excuse William Shatner tonight, 74 years young. You know what's fascinating? Every time I meet somebody who's older, in their 70s, and has that vibrancy, has that youth about them, they have one thing in common. My dad's like this. My dad's 76 and he's a fantastic artist now. They're still working. They still have a passion. So my advice to anybody out there, no matter how much money you have or don't have, how old you are, always have that passion. Always have that next mountain to climb. That's what keeps you young. That's why that guy is 74 going on 37. We'll see you tomorrow.